she said that her fiance told her, when you're going to go to that Muslim convention, don't come back as a Muslim. Now how do you clear that? How do you clear that? How do you fix that? Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, in her way of thinking, she went as a Muslim.
Possibly. It's very possible. I mean, you could argue with, tell her that, you're basically there, you just have to say it. What else? Yes, sir?
You discussed the importance of either following or taking the opinion of her fiancé or taking the opinion which is expressed in Islam.
I didn't quite get you. I'm sorry. But I think you're on the right track.
What would be more important to her? What her fiancé says about Islam or what she's hearing from us.
There you go. Very good. Yes, sir?
What is your fiance's problem with Islam?
Okay, that's possible. Yes, sir?
Kind of along those lines, but also why did you bring him with you?
Okay, that's possible. Yes, sir?
Should we do it secretly at first? Something is out.
Okay. Yes, sir? Nothing's wrong here, by the way. Yeah?
Could you say, you never know when you're going to die?
Uh-huh. And keep pushing that thought further.
You might die by the time you go home.
Okay, very good. So now, what we're getting her to see is that, you're reminding her of the akhirah, people. It's Allah and His eternity in the hellfire versus, this guy. And that's basically what I told her. So we fixed this problem very quickly, actually. Said, okay, listen. On the Day of Judgment, everyone will stand in front of Allah by themselves. Allah will call you by name. And you will be held accountable for your deeds. And you will be held accountable for everything. The disbelievers will just be held accountable. So your boyfriend and or your fiancé or your family or father, nobody will stand and answer on your behalf. So you're responsible for your deeds. So then basically we took care of that, and that was the end of that problem. I said, now become Muslim. Because now it was an obstacle. We fixed it. You asked for the Shahada again, right? Because that was what's stopping her in the beginning. We asked for the Shahada again. She said, no, I just want to, just not ready. I want to take my time, or want to see how things go. So I figured maybe she's waiting for a sign from Allah. Now let's see. Maybe I was right. Maybe I was wrong. I don't know. So I'm testing it. I told her, look, I think you're waiting for a sign. Let me ask you this. If you were going to get a sign from Allah, if Allah wants to tell you need to become Muslim, will you expect to be walking down the street and then you see a big neon sign that's flashing that says, Adrian, become Muslim right now? She said, no, I won't expect something like that. So you might expect that sign of Allah to be subtle a little bit. She said, possibly. I said, like some short, annoying man with glasses telling you need to become Muslim right now. So she laughed. She said, that's possible. So then I'm trying to get her to see that, you've got your sign from Allah. So I told her, listen. And you're not going to find anything phenomenal about what I'm about to tell you. It's very simple things. You're just trying to get someone in front of you to think. I told her, how many Muslims are in this room right now? She said, thousands of Muslims. I said, how many non-Muslims do you think are inside this room right now? She said, probably just me. I said, how many non-Muslims are outside of this room? She said, billions of non-Muslims. I said, okay. From the billions of non-Muslims in the world, Allah chose you to put you in a room amongst thousands of Muslims. And you've been interested in His religion for 3 years. I asked you if there's anything you dislike about His religion. You said no. I told you, give me a good reason. I forgot to mention this. Give me a good reason you won't become Muslim right now. A good reason and I'll leave. I won't bother you. But just give me a good reason. Nothing like, I got to take give me a good reason. And she couldn't think of a reason. I said, I asked you for a reason, you couldn't think of one. We went over the ingredients of being a Muslim, and you're essentially there as far as belief, and you're still waiting for a sign from Allah. So do you think that was enough to get her to become Muslim? No. So basically, in the end I told her, and I don't do this with everybody, but sometimes you can see how much you can go with people based on their personality and how friendly they are. I said, listen, I actually have to go now. I'm going to give you 3 seconds to become Muslim. No pressure, right? Because it was kind of a jokingly I said, look, I'm going to give you 3 seconds, I have to go now. 1, 2, 3. I started to walk away. She said, what? You're just going to leave me like that? And she became Muslim. So, again, it was a combination. In this example, we see how many ways you can say, well, maybe this is the issue. Maybe that's the issue. And you can ask. like one brother said earlier, one of the easiest ways to find the obstacle is to say, what is stopping you from becoming a Muslim right now? When do you ask this question? When they have the ingredients, the 5 pillars. You say, what's stopping me from becoming a Muslim right now? Then they will come out with it. Oh, it's my fiance. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Or it could be any one of these. So when you're looking for this external problem, it could be a sign. It could be a misconception they have about Islam or about the Muslim. That's why you ask, what did you dislike, or what caused you any problems, or what caused friction in your heart. You find out what the misconception is. Or it might be the influence of family or religion. It might be that we think, religion just causes problems worldwide. You might experience that on campus in a few weeks. That someone might tell you, well, I don't like to talk about religion because most people die, or more people die because of religion than anything else on earth. Have you heard that before? Okay. Now, who would like to answer that for us? How do you refute that? Someone who hasn't heard the workshop, please. Let's get some fresh ideas here. And Tofta.
The 2 most destructive wars in human history had no religion in them whatsoever.
Okay, very good. Yes, sir. Same thing?
No, I was going to say the plague and stuff like that.
Okay, so people die because of diseases, possibly. Okay, yeah?
I was just going to say a lot of people died from wars since the beginning of time.
Okay, but what if they argue these are religious wars?
But not necessarily.
Okay, good. Yeah? Good.
Try to.
You should give me some examples. Yeah.
Try to get to explain to them the difference between religion and followers.
Mm-hmm. Just trying to keep the blame away from religion and?
Yeah, it's more of like a political side of religion. It's not really like a religious thing.
Okay, good. All these answers were actually correct. And the truth is, that statement is false. Don't accept that statement. It's false. That more people die because of religion than anything else on earth. That's wrong. It's not true. If you do the math, you'll find more people die because of things related to land, money, conquering people for these purposes, and more so than religion. And when religion is brought into the mix, it's not purely because of scripture, but because of also another factor on top of things. And again, the example I always use is New York City. There's a lot of Jews living there. There's a lot of Palestinians living there. Why don't Jews come and bulldoze, apartment buildings and have Palestinians in them in New York City? And why don't they kill and have, altercations in New York City? Because neither religious scripture says you need to kill the other person simply because they're Jewish, or you need to kill the other person simply because they're Muslim. It doesn't say that anywhere in their scripture, does it? But because there's an additional factor when it comes to their dispute there's a land dispute. You see what I'm saying? So it's not that there's any religion in the world where you open it and the scripture says just go kill the other person because it doesn't belong to your faith. But there's always somewhere and some way that they bring religion in. Just like with the Crusades, from the European side, they brought the religion into it to get people to join armies, And they had, images, Muslims were desecrating Christian sites, and that got people so riled up, and they joined the armies in such huge numbers that they were not equipped to feed them, and a lot of them died of starvation. So a lot of times religion is used also to rile people up and so on and so forth. But was there any war that was purely because of religion or because of scripture that said just kill the other guy, just kill him, just like that? So anyway, so the idea is that it's not true, and don't accept that argument. Anyways, is it time for a break or something? Have we done an hour? I don't want people to get too bored. What time is it?
11:25.
11:25, and lunch is 12:30. What is 1? Okay, then maybe we should take a break. So, if you want a 10-minute break, is that long? Okay, 10-minute break. I'm going to be here. Now, before you go, one second, sorry. Before you go. Now, what's going to happen is, during the break, you'll come to me and say, what do I say to someone who believes in Trinity? And I will say, actually the part on Trinity is coming up in the notes. Then someone else will come and say, what do I say to the one who's an atheist? And I will say, actually, if you wait with us, it's coming up in the notes in a little bit. Then someone will come and say, how do I deal with the Hindu? And I'm going to say, well, Hindu is coming up in the notes in a little bit. So, I welcome all your questions. Ask me any question related to something we've already discussed. You because there's a lot coming up. So try to ask me about things we've discussed. Say, I didn't understand that slide, or you skipped this slide, what is that saying? And so during the break, because we don't have too much time, and I want us to get as much as we can out of these 2 days. So my break is not my break is for you. I'll be sitting here, and maybe next break will be entirely for the sisters, or a portion of lunch will be for sisters so they can ask their questions. So 10 minutes, inshallah. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam.